And now for a Next News special report.
And now I bring you a special report on the explosive developments in the Manhattan hush money trial. President Donald Trump came out swinging today, launching a blistering attack on the judge, the prosecution, and the entire New York judicial system. In a series of shocking statements, Trump called the trial a horrible gag order, an abominable abuse, and a wretched assault on the rule of law. And that's just the beginning, folks. Wait until you hear what Trump said next. Now, friends, just like how President Trump is fighting against the unjust trial, we too are battling to keep our mission alive. For over a decade, we've been a beacon of truth, but now we face an unprecedented challenge. YouTube has demonetized us, and Rumble has dismissed us. We need your support now more than ever to ensure that our voice continues to be heard. Your generosity can help us emerge stronger, just like how Trump remains resilient despite the odds. Visit the links below to donate and join us in this critical moment. Together, let's keep the flame of truth burning bright. Now, the scene outside the Manhattan Courthouse was electric today as former President Donald Trump addressed the media amid the ongoing so-called hush money trial. Trump, known for his unapologetic style, held nothing back as he delivered a scathing rebuke of the proceedings. Watch.
So thank you very much. On Saturday, we have a tremendous rally, and I hope you're all going to be there. It's in Wildwood, New Jersey, where there's going to be a big crowd, and we're going to be saying a lot. We'll be able to campaign on Saturday. And nevertheless, we have a horrible gag order that shouldn't be allowed. It's never been on. Nothing like this has ever happened. What you're witnessing is a first. I have some articles that came out this morning. Jonathan Turley, the predominant question in the Manhattan hush money trial of former President Donald Trump is not one of guilt, but something far more basic. Is the District Attorney Alvin Bragg's case a joke? Is it a prank? Is it a farce? On Thursday, the answers became clear. It's all of the above, but it's also an abominable abuse of our justice system and a wretched assault on the rule of law. It's Jonathan Turley, and it just goes on and finishes, although it's a long story that's brutal about this case. This case is highly unconstitutional. It's presided over by a very conflicted judge, conflicted like I've never seen before. He refuses to take himself off the case, and it should be a mistrial. Their objective, of course, was to humiliate and smear Trump with a gossipy tale of sex that had nothing to do with the criminal charges at issue. Had nothing to do with it. Everything you've been watching has nothing to do with the case. They know that. It was a sophomoric gamble, and it has backfired spectacularly. Miranda Devine, we've heard it all before. Dems already wheeled out the scandal of 2016, and it didn't work then. Why would it work now, 8 years later? And why now, 6 months before the election? In other words, why are they bringing this case right before the election? You know, and so do I, because they're dishonest thugs. Nobody in their right mind thinks that this is what New York is, that they scare prosecutorial resources, and that they have scarce prosecutorial resources and should be spent when people are languishing in jails all over the city. DA Alvin Bragg should be spending his time prosecuting cop bashers and Jew-hating agitators. The message Democrats are inadvertently sending in voting public is that this guy is so strong that we have to cheat to beat him. Well, they are cheating to beat me. This is cheating. This is election interference. Kerry Urban, she says, not going well for the prosecution. Highly respected young lady. Not going well for the prosecution. But when you have a rigged judge, things can go well. So story after story, these are all stories that just came out. These are all stories that are 100% that this is a disgraceful trial. And I'll be going over them with you later. How the left tried to do things to hurt Trump. I'm just going to say two things because I can't read certain words I'm not allowed to read. If I use the words this guy wants to put me in jail. He's corrupt. Alan Dershowitz. Trump trial will go down in history as a stupendous legal catastrophe. That's the great Alan Dershowitz. Now, I'm not a friend of Alan Dershowitz. I don't know him well, but this is what he writes. This is what everyone's writing. And this is a case that should have never started. Byron York writes a fantastic article, but I have to read it very carefully because if I put one wrong word in, they want to put me in jail. Donald Trump just had an incredible legal week. Well, I didn't really, because the judge is highly political, and he's corrupt, and he's also conflicted at a level that nobody's ever been before that I've seen. His Politico, Trump's political fate likely won't be decided by the courts after all because they think the case is so bad. But again, when you have a rigged judge, bad things can happen. Very bad things can happen. I'm trying to edit this very quickly in front of you because if I mention the wrong word, they'll come out here and they'll take me out to a jail someplace because that's the way it is with this judge. He wants to show how tough he is. So this is story after story. I'll give you some more later on. They don't like it when I talk during the day because they'd rather not have me talk at all. They think they're going to get away with this. If this country allows them to get away with this gag order, and the way the case is being handled, like what they're doing yesterday was incredible. It was incredible. What they did, this trial was so horrible. It's no longer justice, and it's a tremendous abuse of the New York judicial system in particular. The New York judicial system has been absolutely abused and abused terribly, and it's the whole world is watching. It's very bad. So I'll now go and sit in that freezing cold courtroom for 8 or 9 hours and think about being on the campaign. But I'll be in the campaign on Saturday at 5 o'clock in Wildwood, New Jersey. Thank you very much.
Now, in his remarks, Trump called the trial a horrible gag order and an event unprecedented in American history. He accused Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg of pursuing a case that is nothing more than an abominable abuse of our justice system and a wretched assault on the rule of law. He cited articles by legal experts Jonathan Turley and Miranda Devine to support his claim that the trial is a farcical attempt to humiliate him with old scandals rather than addressing any legitimate criminal charges. Trump's frustration with what he perceives as a biased judicial process was palpable. He specifically targeted the judge presiding over the case, labeling him as very conflicted, and suggested that the trial should be declared a mistrial. He argued that this trial is a form of election interference, a blatant attempt by Democrats to damage his reputation ahead of the upcoming election. Furthermore, Trump highlighted the misuse of prosecutorial resources, criticizing Bragg for not focusing on the more severe crimes plaguing New York, such as violence against police officers and anti-Semitic attacks. Despite the challenges he faces, Trump conveyed a message of resilience and defiance, affirming that his political strength remains unshakable. So the implications of the trial extend far beyond the courtroom. It raises questions about the fairness of our judicial system and the extent to which political motivations can influence legal proceedings. Trump supporters see this as a witch hunt, an attempt to undermine a leader who threatens the status quo. Critics, however, argue that no one, not even the former president, is above the law and that the charges against Trump must be thoroughly investigated. So as the trial continues, the eyes of the nation and the world remain fixed on Manhattan. The outcome of this case could have significant ramifications for Trump's political future and the broader American political landscape. So regardless of one's political leanings, it's crucial that justice be served impartially and that the truth, whatever it may be, comes to light. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. My fellow Americans, what we are witnessing in New York is a travesty of justice. The prosecution of a former president on flimsy charges presided over by a conflicted judge is a stain on our judicial system. This trial is not about upholding the law. It's about settling political scores. We must stand united against such blatant abuse of power, for if they can do this to a president, imagine what they can do to the rest of us. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.